What happens when a U.S. senator gets mistaken for a convicted terrorist? The vice president laughs, the Democrat mayor melts down, and ICE is stuck releasing a literal killer. Yeah, welcome to Los Angeles under Democrat rule. Watch this.
Mr. Vice President, how dare you disrespect our senator? You don't know his name, but yet you served with him before you were vice president, and you continue to serve with him today, because the last time I checked, the vice president of the United States is the president of the U.S. Senate. You serve with him today, and how dare you disrespect him and call him Jose? But I guess he just looked like anybody to you. Well, he's not just anybody to us. He is our senator.
So she wasn't mad when criminals burned down the city. But misnaming a Democrat senator, that's basically a civil rights violation of her. That's how they treating this right now. Oh, my gosh. Excuse me. And when you thought the outrage was about respect, watch what Vance actually said, y'all. Let me get this prepared for y'all. Listen real closely, too, okay?
My political...
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. You know, I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater.
Of course, when the vice president said Jose Padilla, it raised some questions there. We did just hear from a Vance spokesperson a few moments ago who said, quote, he must have mixed up two people who have broken the law. My political...
I love to see CNN troll. Okay, so this is me learning about Jose Padilla as well. Somebody else. It says he was born. Okay, well, yeah, there's that. Y'all see the picture. So I didn't know whether it was on purpose or by mistake. It seems like JD Vance definitely made the mistake, but Democrats, they gonna take what they can. That was a mic drop. That she had to read that. And the fact that CNN even followed up on it proves they cared about the name more than the policies destroying the border. But wait, Vance wasn't done. He doubled down with facts, not feelings.
Lawmakers who keep getting handcuffed. The New York Times just did a story. They keep getting handcuffed, suggesting that the Trump administration is cracking down on Democrats. Can you comment on that?
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. You know, I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater. These guys show up. They want to be captured on camera doing something. They want to be able to go back to their far left groups and to say, look, me, I stood up against border enforcement. I stood up against Donald Trump, when all they're really standing up for is for drug cartels to run rampant over our country and sex traffickers to be able to continue to traffic little kids into our country. That's what you're doing when you stand against border enforcement. So I think these guys, we ought to laugh them out of the building. We ought to call them out for doing what they're doing, which is grandstanding. And if they want to work seriously on border enforcement and on keeping their communities safe, the Trump administration's door is wide open. But they're not doing that. They love the grandstanding. They hate law enforcement because they hate the idea of the United States of America having a border. It's a disgrace, but it is what it is.
So Democrats don't like that message because it obviously exposes them. They aren't standing against Trump. They're standing for drug cartels, human trafficking, and chaos, basically. And they know it. Vance knows it. And you do, too. But here's where it gets sick. When Bass throws tantrum, I wanted to make sure I said her name right. Y'all see me, I kind of flinched when I said it. But when she throws tantrums, ICE literally is being blocked from deporting convicted killers, y'all. You can't make this up.
That's our car.
All right. Only Fox News was with ICE and HSI officers in Los Angeles as they moved in to take down a high-priority aggravated felon. His name is Alexander Palacios Guevara. DHS says he's a Salvadoran illegal alien and Sureños gang member with prior convictions for murder, and attempted murder.
I have an immigration lawyer.
Guevara has had a deportation order since February 2024 and had been living freely in Los Angeles County, a sanctuary jurisdiction. Now that this convicted murderer is in federal custody, he's coming here to this ICE facility where he's going to be booked. They're going to take his fingerprints, take his biometrics. He'll be placed in a cell. But as we were reporting on what would happen next with Guevara, he interrupted us to repeatedly say he shouldn't be deported because he has a special form of relief called CAT. ICE says you have a deportation order since February 2024, sir.
No, I just got CAT on December the 18th of last year by the BIA. You can call my lawyer.
It turns out his claim is true. ICE wasn't aware at the time of his arrest, but in the final days of the Biden administration on December 18th, the BIA, or Board of Immigration Appeals, under the Biden Department of Justice, granted Guevara a relief known as DCAT, meaning deferred removal under the Convention Against Torture. It means Guevara can't be deported to El Salvador because he fears being killed or tortured, and the Trump administration is outraged about it. An ICE spokesperson tells Fox, quote, "This criminal alien should never have been roaming the streets of Los Angeles. Not only is he a member of the ruthless Sureños gang, but he also has multiple convictions for murder, assault, and rape or sexual abuse of a minor. A highly unusual Biden-era legal decision from December allowed this dangerous criminal to live in American communities." Are you a convicted murderer, sir?
I am free.
Are you a convicted murderer?
You turn around there.
And guys, after that interaction, we learned that ICE briefly released this man from custody. Then they went out and rearrested him the very next day due to his criminal history. He remains in ICE custody now. But this just goes to show how complicated this system is. This Salvadoran man is convicted of murder. He's an alleged gang member. He has an active deportation order. He had his due process, but still, ICE is unable to send him back home to his home country because of this last-minute protection he got during the final days of the Biden administration. Now, ICE can and will try to deport him to a third-party country, but right now they have to wait for the Supreme Court to rule on their ability to do so because a federal judge in Boston earlier this year blocked them from doing third-party removals. Last point I want to make, I did reach out to this man's immigration attorney multiple times, asking her who exactly is he afraid is going to torture him back home. She never got back to me. We'll send it back to you.
Bill Malosian, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Bill.
A man with convictions for murder, attempted murder, and gang ties is allowed to stay in L.A. because the Biden DOJ granted him that protection. ICE had no clue. They had to arrest this man twice. I always say it's not compassion. That was pure recklessness. And when Vance was asked to stop ICE operations in LA, he laughed. Rightfully so, right?
And then bringing things back here to L.A., I asked VP Vance to respond to L.A. Mayor Karen Bass demanding that ICE operations completely stop here in Los Angeles. Vance laughed and said there is a 0% chance that is going to happen. He says the more riots, the more protests, the more activists and politicians that interfere, they're going to double down on their operations at the federal level. I asked him what is his message to both Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. He said, quote, "Do your job," and he said he finds it interesting, in his words, that they seem to care more about illegal immigrants than U.S. citizens. Brett?
That always
nice hustle
baffles
turning
me,
that
I'll
around.
tell you
Bill
that.
Malosian live in L.A. Bill, thank you.
I'm always flabbergasted by that. But look, the more they protest, the more they riot, the harder ICE is going to go. And Vance's message was very clear. Do your job. Okay, it's not that hard. Meanwhile, this isn't just a California problem, y'all. Wait until you hear what Democrats defended in Jasmine Crockett's state, Texas.
Senate Bill 38 going to the Texas House, and this bill seeks to keep squatters out of our house. Democrats have fought for 2 hours for the right, I don't even know how to say this, for the right of people that don't belong in your house to stay in your house in the event that they You leave for a month or two and a squatter goes in and takes your house over. Democrats are fighting for the ability of those people to be able to stay in your house. It's the most jacked up thing I've ever heard.
They just continue to fight for criminals. You leave your home for a month, someone breaks in, and Democrats fought 2 hours for that criminal to be able to stay. Let that sink in. Everything they do is for criminals. And if you still wondering who's telling the truth, let's go back to L.A., where the Dodgers and Mayor Bass, got caught lying again. Now, there's a lot going on with this. But apparently, the word around town is ICE was turned around and denied access to the Dodgers game. But U.S. Immigration, ICE, that is, and Customs Enforcement, my bad, I should have read it all and then said ICE, but replied to this Los Angeles Dodgers tweet saying this morning ICE agents came to Dodger Stadium and requested permission to access the parking lots. They were denied entry to the grounds by the organization. Tonight's game will be played as scheduled. And then above that, ICE replied, false. We were never there. Now, the Dodgers claimed ICE showed up. ICE said flat out, we were never there. So why would the team lie? Why would ICE lie? This is a sticky one for me right now because I got some other clips, but let's assume that they did. Let's assume that this is a lie from the Dodgers. Why would they do that? Because in that event, politics comes before truth. And they thought no one would check. And here come Bass again. Not to fix the crime, y'all, but to defend the lie.
Aware of any planned federal actions?
Officers are just showing up. We don't even know what type of officers they are. They're masked, as you saw. They don't present their ID. It said Border Patrol. Are they Border Patrol? Are they ICE? Are they Federal Protective Services? It is a sense of confusion and chaos. Our police department, our police chief, had no knowledge of this.
Bill, what do you know about this? You're there in L.A. What's happening?
I think the problem is people don't understand how to identify the different federal agencies. Everybody sees any sort of police officer and they immediately think it's ICE. It was Border Patrol out there. You can see it clear as day. Bright gold lettering Border Patrol on their green vest. They typically wear green. What happened with that was, if you listen to the local media and activists out here, they made it sound like the feds were showing up to Dodger Stadium to try to start arresting Dodgers fans as they were showing up for the game that night. Not the case at all. What I'm told from my contacts is this was just a group of a few CBP and Border Patrol officers. They had just run an operation in Hollywood. They needed a place to stage and regroup. Literally only 4 or 5 of them pulled up near the parking areas of Dodger Stadium just to regroup themselves. Activists found them, said it was ICE, put it out on social media. Then the media helicopters started flying all over the place. Then the headlines come out and the narrative is, oh, ICE is hitting Dodger Stadium. Not the case at all.
Wow, a rumor can spread quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we've seen happen in L.A. last couple of weeks, and that's kind of what started some of those riots we saw a couple of weeks ago. So,
yes. These rumors can. Now I have some clarification. Now I have total clarification. But Karen Bass, this is the same mayor who cried about being disrespected, but now protects the very policies that threaten our own city. Y'all gotta see this. And it gets worse. I know y'all hate that I say that right before every clip, but do I be wrong? Yeah, it gets worse when even Democrats admit that the story ain't adding up.
So please tell me why ICE is sitting here on X saying they were never in contact with the Dodgers. They were never at the Dodger Stadium. That's what ICE is saying. But then Homeland Security is saying, oh, we were there, but we weren't there for the Dodgers. And then we have video of ICE being there at the Dodgers parking lot. Yeah, let me show you.
Take this Dodger Stadium. And behind me, those are federal agents that appeared to have been staging here after what have been a series of immigration enforcement actions in Los Angeles this morning. So now you've got protesters, media.
Looking at this, I have a few concerns on whether or not they have clear communication on what's going on with ICE and the operations they're doing within the Department of Homeland Security. Christy Nome should know that. It should be clear communication on the operations. And my second concern here is the fact that they're targeting ICE. ICE is targeting immigrants who are going to courtrooms trying to fulfill their status and do it legally. But before they can do it legally, they get deported. We need to be aware of these concerns and start voicing out. That's what the June 14th protest was for, half of the reason why many people came out there. So it's just...
I don't know what the hell you're talking about at this point. I'm just going to stop it, okay? We got the point, right? But even the official government accounts can't keep the law straight. ICE says one thing, DHS says another. Meanwhile, the streets stay dangerous. And the border, wide open. They lecture us about names while freeing murderers, lying to the public, and collapsing trust in federal agencies. What do I always say? I said it in the middle of this video. This isn't compassion. It's chaos with a smile. Now, final question for you. Should officials like Karen Bass be allowed to block ICE while her own city crumbles? Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.